Hello, all you RC people out there. I just want to do a little short video on rebuilding your crashed plane, specifically foam, and even more specifically the Bixler 2. I recently crashed it, stalled it out, and nosedived. Surprisingly, it held up fairly well, if I can show you here. Alright, so as you can see, everything is pretty much good. The nose got a little smashed, although it has been smashed a little bit before. And then both this wing right here is the piece broke off there, and this wing, if you can see, is cracked right here, and then we turn it around and you can see it's a little dented right there, because when the plane hit the ground there was G-force and the wings smashed forward. So other than that, it's looking pretty good, so I still think we can repair it pretty well. Alright, for this project we're going to need a few things. One, pot of boiling or very hot water, and some foam safe glue. I picked this up at Lowe's, but I'm sure you could pick it up at any local hardware store, Home Depot, McGuckin, pretty much anything. And back here it even says that it is foam safe, and it even shows a picture of an RC airplane. So that's pretty much all the materials, and let's get started. Alright, to start this off, we are going to first, if you can see this, tape all the electronics up and out of the way, and try to get these electronics as much out of the way as possible. And then, as you can see, I have some tape on here. This actually wasn't from having a crash. It was, I put it on originally just to strengthen it and give it some more hardness and rigidity to the structure and to protect it on landings. So first, as you can see, I've started to take some of this off, and it does take a very, very slight bit of the foam off, but for the most part it leaves the foam intact. So we're just gonna take this off and take all of this tape off. Let's do it. Alright, so as you can see, all the tape is removed, and this thing is a little bent up, but you can see all the tape is removed. So let's move on to the next step. Alright, for this step, pretty simple. It's a trick I learned on YouTube. Basically all you need is a pot of boiling water and your crashed up airplane. Okay, so here we are. Basically we have our pot of very hot water. I've heard that the hotter you have the water, the quicker it'll go, but it doesn't really have to be any specific temperature. Okay, so what we're going to do, as you can see, some of my electronics are out, so we have to be very careful about that. I'm basically just going to hold them back, and I think I might actually take the receiver off just to be safe. Okay, so as you can see, I've taped all my electronics up, and so they're free from this nose area down here. So let's get started. Okay, basically what we're going to do is just take this and submerge it down in the hot water. And what it's going to do is, I'm not exactly sure exactly how it works, but I think basically it just kind of heats up all the bonds in the foam and lets it expand, and anyway, it does a great job. So we'll just let that sit in there for about 5-10 minutes and see what we have then. Alright, just one more quick thing I've done is I have taken a plastic bag and wrapped it around all the electronics, because since this is hot water, it is steaming. So I've just done this to protect all the electronics from getting steam on them and getting any water damage. Alright, so this is even less than 5 minutes, and as you can see, the nose it has some lumps on it where the foam expanded, but as you can see, it's really quite good. So that worked quite well. There is a few places, like back here, it's a little dented. I don't know if you can see that, but that's too close to the electronics, so, and it's pretty good right now. So I'll just leave that and move on to the wings. Okay, so here we have our wing. We do have to be a little careful of these wires right here, and as you can see, this is cracked right in here. I don't know if you can see that right there, but we don't really have to worry about that too much, because although it is cracked, I don't think it's deformed in any way. But the thing we are getting is right here. As you can see, that's bent. So we'll just stick this in, being careful of our electronics, and hopefully the decals don't come off. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, so let's take it out and see what happened. Alright, as you can see, probably not 100% perfect, but looks pretty darn good to me. So you can see that's definitely a lot straighter than before, and it looks about perfect. So I think that's about it. I might do one more part, but other than that, I think it's about time to let these dry off and then start gluing. Alright, for this part, basically what we're going to do is just take a paper towel and take our wings and just gently dab and wipe off all the excess water. Okay, so basically what we're doing with the wiping off the water, for the most part it really doesn't matter, and it actually could be a good thing, because this glue right here, it actually says, if you can see there, it actually says to damp it. It says it'll make a stronger bond if you have the surface be a little wet first. So for the most part, it's totally okay to leave some of the water on, unless of course you're using a different glue that says not to have any water. But the most important part about getting the water off is the fuselage. So here's the fuselage. Basically, if there's any water on the foam part of the fuselage, it's okay. But there is a fair amount of space in here that you can't really get to with a paper towel. So you probably want to let that dry off. And also, although the electronics don't look very wet at all, even if they don't look wet, it's probably a good idea just to let them air out a little bit, make sure there's no moisture in there at all. So for the main fuselage, I'm going to let that sit and dry out for a couple of hours. But for the wings, we can get started gluing them now. Alright, so first we're going to glue this crack. You can see it from the other side too, like that. So it's still partly together, but yeah, we'll go ahead and start with that. And let's just open up the glue here. Here it is, Gorilla Glue. Says it'll bond almost anything. And I already tried it on some foam earlier, and it seemed to work great. So I don't think I'm going to damp it anymore, since it already was slightly wet. So basically what I'm going to do for this is have it like this. I'm basically just going to pry it open a little bit like that, squeeze some glue in, and then tape it shut so it'll get a nice firm bond. Alright, here it is. Gonna open up our glue and set it over there. So basically we're just gonna spread it open a little bit and just put some glue in there. And with this, it says to use it sparingly because apparently it will expand anywhere from 3 to 4 times. So that's nice because it'll make the glue last a bit longer. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, put it in there. Just got a little zip tie. So what I'm gonna do is open it back up and try to spread it around a little bit in there, just so we can get all the surfaces, just so we can have a good strong bond. I am going to flip this over, and if you can see there, I'm going to put some in this crack over here. Spread that open a little bit and dab some in. And then we'll get this and just spread it around a little bit. Okay, so now that we have our glue in place, what I'm going to do is just grab anything. I don't know what would be the best for this. Probably like a piece of scrap paper or something. And just push that closed. And I'm just going to use my finger because I can. Just wipe off any excess and take a piece of tape here and tape it on there, and then press it firmly closed and tape it across there. So that will hold it in place while it's curing. And then you can go to the other side, and as you can see there's a little bit of excess there also. You can kind of press that in and just simply wipe it off with your finger. So that's good, and basically repeat that on anything else you have. This piece broke off with the other wing, so I'm going to do the same process for that, and they should all be good. Okay, I'm back, and I'm just showing you that, I don't know if you can see this, but this glue really has expanded, so they weren't lying when they say it expands a lot. So I'm just going to grab a paper towel and wipe it off some more. So I actually would recommend getting something like this. This glue actually seems to work quite well, and since it expands so much, that means you don't have to use very much, so your glue will last a lot longer. So that's good. Seems to be working well. Okay, so here I have both my wings and this little piece that broke off of the cover plate for the wing. So they're all glued in place and taped. So basically, it says let them dry for an hour, but I'm probably just going to let them dry for two or 3 hours at least, maybe even more, just to make sure that they're really, really strong. So yeah, and then once that's done, we'll go back to the fuselage, glue that in place, and then mount everything back together, so it'll be a plane again. Okay, so the fuselage has dried out now. So basically we just have one last thing to do, and that is, I don't know if you can see right there, it's the glue came undone. So just glue that up, and then we should be ready to put everything back together. Alright, so we have everything ready to go. So all we have to do now is wire it all back up and put it together. Alright, let's do it. Alright, everybody, here we go. Finished product. As you can see, it looks pretty darn good. The nose is straight and long again, and all the wings fit in together. So everything is pretty good. Still have to glue in this, but all the glue's holding up well, as you can see right here. So that glued in pretty well, and everything seems to be working out. So, the only thing I might do is, as you can see, this is still a little bumpy from the water treatment. So, I might just, take some fairly fine sandpaper and just go over it a few times to smooth it down. Or I might tape it again, like I did before. But other than that, looks pretty darn good. Okay, well, as you can see, that water method works pretty darn well. So, I guess that's pretty much it. Okay, so, hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, leave me a comment down below. And otherwise, good luck on rebuilding your plane, and see you next time.